What's good, everybody? It's Croptober, as you know. You got fields of booth coming down. You also got some real pounds. There's a fire coming down. Just depends on what end you're sitting on. I hope everybody's smoking well, doing well. Got your head up, your spirits up. I'm gonna talk about a few different things today. First things first, after the cool off of the recent 24% tax hike passed into law here in the state of Michigan, I know we all ain't feeling that shit. You know what I mean? It's gonna have quite a different impact on people in ways that we're uncertain at the moment, and that's all right. You know, I feel like we'll persevere through that shit, and as a cannabis community, as always, we'll push through it. Simple as that. But at the same time, there's a lot of horse shit involved, as you know. You got politicians, you got roads, which have always been fucked up in Michigan, that we all know that won't get fixed. It's gonna stay that way. So, yeah, that's unfortunate. There's a lot of different people obviously involved in that move that's been in the works probably for a minute, and it's going to get put onto the backs of blue collar hardworking Michiganders, also the out-of-staters, those folks that love to shop here and bring their hard-earned dollar to Michigan as well. There's going to be an effect without a doubt come January 1st, 2026. So I'm going to discuss that for a moment. And then I'm going to talk about a few different things in New Buffalo, which I mentioned a couple things in the last video, but I just want to touch more on New Buffalo and the situation there. Yeah. So right now, I hope that you're stocking up and grabbing, flour while it's sitting at a nice price for you without that hefty fat ass tax to it. We don't know exactly what it'll look like. What I hope is this: is a 24% tax, right? That obviously can be absorbed multiple ways. And what I feel like is fair is that if anything, if it's a grower wholesale tax, right, the least we could do is have a split where the grower absorbs 12, we can absorb 12 as the consumer, and obviously we're paying 16% now. You have the 10% excise and you have the 6% sales. So technically the state, it'll be a 22% if that went that way. You'd have the 12 on top of the 10, and you got 22% plus your 6% sales tax. So you'd be walking out of the door still paying 28% sales tax. So you do the math, it's $28 per every 100. So if you came to spend $500, obviously you're spending nearly $140 on taxes, which is tough. If you spend, $1,000, you can just do the math. It adds up. So it's unfortunate, and we all know that these roads are going to stay shit. And what I like to mention is, obviously Whitmer and their, people ain't never going to see this video, but what I'd like to say is personally is I've been to your city, and I've driven through Lansing many, many times. Even in 2025, I've probably been there 40 times just in this year. Their roads are fucked. Some of the worst roads in Michigan. I've been to every city: Grand Rapids, Ann Arbor, Detroit, all around, Kalamazoo, you name it. Some of the worst roads in Michigan are in Lansing, the capital city, which is an absolute embarrassment. And my thought is this: if I happen to leave your city feeling like I do, I know you have to leave work. That would be Gretchen. I know you have to leave work and drive on these same roads. Even if you're being chauffeured in the Uber Black, you're feeling those potholes. You know these roads are fucked, right? So in that case, if you know these roads are the way they are, and they're in your own town, they're the worst, you best fix these roads, man. Because a lot of us may not see that in Lansing, but I do, and I've been there many times. It's just ridiculous. Unreal. You lose an axle and a tire and whatnot. You better drive a monster truck through Lansing. Folks, any of y'all that's been there, you know what I'm talking about. It's fucking ridiculous. So, that's a tough one when you put the tax attached to the roads. Now, if you were doing it differently, I feel, and approaching it without that involved, we're still going to be upset that you're raising the taxes. And, most people are blue collar, hardworking people that are behind this cannabis industry, right? So that just falls back on us, man. That's just tough, you know? Anyhow, it's coming January 1st. I want to say salute to all the fucking soldiers, man, that came out to the Capitol and that stood in that damn rotunda and chanted to these motherfuckers so that they could hear your voices loud and clear and what this means to you, because this plant is dear to many of us. It's been a lifelong journey, and it's been something that we have dedicated so much time of our lives to this shit, through thick and thin, through everything. All to see with legalization came a lot of fuckery. So whether you're a grow team or a consumer, you know what I'm saying. You could be a dispensary owner, you could be any moving piece in this cannabis industry, and since 2020 to now, this industry has been shot to shit, to say the least, right? And I'm trying to be light with that, because a lot of you know what I'm talking about, and it's just sad because it's something we love. To the legacy people who were doing this a long time ago in the caregiver game, who had it going for a while like that, or probably before there was even an '08 medical in Michigan, you were doing it then. That was somebody like myself. We were playing this game and doing this long before it was even medical, man. And so to see it come to now, it's tough. And I see a lot of pushback in people talking about maybe it's time to go back to the black market, whether you're a consumer or a grower. There's a lot of ways that motherfuckers can white label, backdoor, you name it, try to figure out a way to skirt that tax, if you know what I'm saying. Because at the moment, the only real legal way that's going down to avoid that tax is to be in a completely in-house situation where your grow is what is in your dispensary. You own your dispensary, you own the grow, and only what you sell in your dispensary is your product. The first thing that comes to my mind is Superior Flowers up in Bay City. They grow and sell their own shit on site. Winewood Organics would be another one, say. Both those teams, unfortunately, grow boof, so you might not want to go there. I hope you all stepped your games up since I last saw you, especially Winewood. Superior was straight dickhead, so I don't really feel nothing towards y'all. Anyway, skip that. But point is, you have to be a small in-house situation like Superior or Winewood for you to not have to pay that tax, since it's a wholesale tax to the dispensary, so that's how that's going to go with smaller people. Whereas larger growers, where you're moving your product to dispensaries, of course, you know how that's going to go. It's just a different situation there. Now, you may be a mixed situation. I saw and read some shit on Loom, say, another shit player in the game, but I must mention them because Loom grows all their own shit, and a lot of it's in-house at their stores. But they also have a variety of other brands in their store as well. So they will have to have that wholesale tax there. Whereas the other products, say 70% of the product maybe, is all Loom product on shelf. So you can avoid it that way, Or you can just go back to the black market and say, fuck it all. It's up to you. Either way, the plant's been here for a long time, and it will persevere through the bullshit. No matter what, ugly faces get attached to it. That's what I kind of love about it. I wrote a piece that was on my Instagram. This was probably a year or 2 years ago. And it was simply saying that this cannabis plant basically is ancient. You know this. But it's ancient enough that it has exceeded many lifetimes and generations of people who held it dear to their heart, right? Somebody like myself and you and anybody else that loves this plant. They also held it dear and carried it through their life. They passed on, and the cannabis plant obviously evolved and kept going all the way till now. So you can think back all the way to Egyptian tombs where they have found cannabis buds, flowers in these tombs with mummies. Now, like again, they might have been smoking some boof then. We don't know what they had, but the point is, it's a cannabis genetic that has existed for a long time and will continue to exist after us. So we must think of it like that. It's bigger than all of us. So we can use it and abuse it, or love it and put it up there and treat it like the the special thing that it is. And that's what I choose to do. That's how I feel about it. I do not see cannabis as dollar signs. Unfortunately, there's a lot of people who that is their view on it. That's what brought the Chads. That's what brought the investors. That's what saturated the game with a lot of fuck faces, basically. If I'm just keeping it real, it saturated the game with so many people that said, "Oh, hey man, did you hear cannabis is booming? You already had money, you got investor friends, you jump in, you start Skymint, you start Loom, you do your thing, whatever. You never had a passion for cannabis, you might not have ever smoked, you might not have just even liked the smell of weed. A lot of owners, as we know, folks, don't even smoke the weed. Be skeptical of that shit. I'm sorry, you got a company owner that don't smoke the fucking flower? Excuse me, you're gonna know this. I'm gonna have a parental advisory sticker in the corner of this video, as always. I just gotta keep it raw with you, man. So speaking of raw, let's go to the New Buffalo topic. So I mentioned last video. If you didn't catch it, I'm gonna mention it again. I'm gonna start with my gripe with New Buffalo is, again, a money situation, right? Let's go to this tax for a second. Your government and politicians are greedy son of a bitches, right? They're greedy enough to where they'd rather raise the tax on someone who's already blue collar, hardworking, trying to make ends meet and keep their company alive, or a consumer who works at a factory that goes to the dispensary at the end of the week to buy his flower, right? They're trying to pocket more money off your back while you eat a fucking tax that they want to raise on you, right? So they put profits and money over their own people of Michigan. Now, I have to mention that first because this is exactly what my gripe is in New Buffalo. That the dispensaries and the teams who ran down there and filled up the city, because folks, there's 20 dispensaries in the township of New Buffalo, right? This town has 1,500 people. 1,500. Not 15,000, not 150,000. 1,500 people. That's smaller than I almost promised most towns that y'all live in, by far. And there's 20 dispensaries, okay? What that tells me is, obviously, there's borders of Illinois, Ohio, and Indiana right there. And everybody wants to make a quick buck. It's a gold rush. So everybody ran down there. All the teams and their mama ran down to New Buffalo to get rich quick because they knew that was the hot spot where everybody's running to. The problem is, like I say, you have put profit you put profits first. You've also put all these out-of-state people above your Michigan people, just like your government's doing. They want the money, and they're putting the money over you. And my point is you're putting money over us as well, because you'd rather say, hey, we're putting all this hot, fresh product. So many of you companies put products, first drops of the strains, whatever you name it, jars, hash holes, fucking rosin, down there in New Buffalo. It's ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? At least if you did the same thing for the rest of the dispensaries in the state, there wouldn't be a problem. But you drop it down there, you exclusively give it to that area, which you know that's not where Michiganders shop. That money is coming from an out-of-state person, and their weed is leaving with an out-of-state person, going back to Indiana, which, as y'all know too, most of these states around us, they don't like us until they need us, type of shit, which that's beside the point, but you get what I'm saying. Everybody runs to Michigan when we got some fire. In states like Illinois, Ohio, Indiana has nothing. They're boofed out smoking corn cobs down there, okay? The state's ass. Anybody that's lived there I've talked to will tell you that. Ohio, their medical system's ass. Illinois, medical system or rec system, ass. I got homies in Chicago. Talk to them all the time as well. They're paying $68 an eighth out the door for dust pack. Bro, they sent me a video. This shit turns to dust on a countertop. For $68 an eighth. Okay? So I get why people are coming here. But it's a tough situation when people have put that profit over their own people. And that's what the tax is doing right here. And your own Michigan politicians are putting that money over you and your families and well-being. And it's a similar thing down in New Buffalo. It's just, let's make money and fuck the people in a way. Because you know New Buffalo is not for us. That is for the border states. There's a place way up north. I don't know the name of this border town in Michigan. It sits right there at the Wisconsin border up top. It's the same shit. It moves tons of weight, tons of money, flows in and out of there. I don't care. Make your money do your shit, man. Like I say, just don't put money and other people above your own people. You have to have morals. You have to have a moral compass, man. That's kind of the thing. Where cannabis has been sabotaged in many ways is that greed, that money. And making moves, making weird moves based on something like that, you know? You have to move with passion. And this ain't just about cannabis, folks. You have to understand this is deeper than cannabis. This is life in general. If you don't move with passion, everything you're doing is soulless. It's like a meaningless, you know, you're walking around doing your thing, but it ain't got much meaning to it. Ain't much soul to it. So that's tough. And that's ruined this cannabis industry. Because like I mentioned with the Chads and the investors, they just saw dollar signs. And what they did was they saturated the market with boof, drove the price down for that all the other growers were now collecting this X amount per pound, okay, per unit, whatever it is, and their profits are down because some Chads came in and really fucked shit up, you know? If it was left to my decision or real connoisseur smokers, this state would probably have 20 growers left in the rec market, okay? Not last time I checked, there was 950 licensed teams. And only about 50 of you have made a name for yourself. That's the Zolympics kind of thing, right? There's also all these other people that don't, you know, people don't know them or choose not to be in the Zolympics, for example. Shout out to the homie Fear Booth. You know, it's something like that where you're not in it. I'm not in it. I'm not legally licensed in what I'm doing. But my point is, my brand, I don't want my brand to be in stores mixed in with the fuckery, and I also don't want to be in a Olympics competition. It's not, I don't need to prove myself, man. I don't need my 15 minutes of fame. I love the plant. It's just deeper to me. I'm just trying to smoke quality flower, do it right, support this plant, and be about this plant in a way that feels like that if this plant could speak and it could have a conversation with me, that it wouldn't feel like I'm doing anything wrong by it. You know? Whether it's the way I grow it, myself, because that's huge to me, as y'all know. I love the organics and the soil. I believe in the earth, man. This earth is our teacher. There's some deep shit, man. So anyway, whether it's how I grow it, how I hold it, treat it, trim it, roll it, smoke it, the whole bit. I just want a good experience at the end of the day, just like you do. Hope y'all smoking good, living good. Like I said, man, it's Croptober. You know? Thank fuck there ain't no pumpkin spice latte live rosin, any of that shit, you know? I'm sure there is some goofballs doing something. I think I saw some actually, like Loom did some caramel apple, some shit. Go figure. Crazy. Anyhow, I just want to mention a few things and talk about that tax. I want to talk about New Buffalo for a minute. And by the way, with a few things in New Buffalo, there's a township of New Buffalo, right? And there's the city of New Buffalo. They're like side by side. The township is where all the dispensaries have to be. The city part is where they don't want them. Many people of the city don't want them. It feels like it's brought in a lot of unwanted traffic, people smoking, doing their thing. Hey, I don't give a shit. You know, I smoke weed. I want y'all to live and have fun, you know, but there's more to it. There's also, you know, per dispensary, they're collecting about $60,000 per dispensary. So you figure with 20 of them being there, there's that incentive to allow them to be there. So they're collecting X amount of dollars, thousands, you know, over $500,000 just to allow them to have the dispensaries there, you know. So there's incentive to do it, you know, but it's created somewhat of a mess. And obviously, if you're coming in and out of state, many of us played this game when we were younger, you know, back in the trap days. When you got to cross state lines and do all that kind of shit, you are taking a risk. You know you're taking a risk. But to have to do that weekly, monthly, whatever, to just re-up on your favorite kind of smoke from Michigan, it's just fucking ridiculous, man. You ducking and dodging the law constantly. Just because your state ain't on board and up to date with what's what. Indiana needs to pull its head out of its ass for sure. You know? Crazy. Anyhow, I'm gonna wrap this up. I got a few things to do, a few things to smoke, folks. Lately I've been smoking on obviously the Favored, still doing the testing, and the QC for Favored, which has been fun. I've gotten into a few other things, some dabs from some new companies, Superb Cannabis Co., which is a new one. I'm enjoying their shit. Let's see what else here. Got some high tech, some good high tech. Got some Lance. I got some pink runts, potato runts. I don't know why I've been craving them terps lately. I know we all got burnt out on it in a way, but the point of that is like those fucking terps are stamped, in history. We can go 10 years from now and we'll talk about certain strains that had that punch and that had that, punch as in it made an impact on the cannabis game. And Runts was one of them. So I like the Runts. Obviously the Skittles is hot. Everybody's always loved the Z from in late, but I'm talking about, we look back in history and we talk about the Sour D, the OG, the Chem, the fucking candies now, like this Runts, the Skittles, shit like that. They're classic strains. They will be classics. They're gonna go down in history and shit and hold the test of time. If they're around. So enjoy them while you can. I just got back into a quick Runts kick for some reason. But yeah, folks. Shoot. Treat each other right, man. Also want to touch on before I go. I was mentioning in the last video about us being unified and more together. This industry's got a lot of weird shit, and there's always a constant competition and underlying weird energy, in a sense, to the game. Obviously, there are people who kick it with others, who are authentic with others. So you have your cliques that are tight, and people that are tight, they keep it G100 authentic, right? Then you have those that aren't tight, that don't know each other, and through social media and the phones, everybody plays this funny ass little game. It's weird. And I sense it because I'm big on fucking energy. I can feel you and smell you through the screen. That ain't no bullshit. So that's tough when you're in my shoes and can do that, because you can feel people out in a way that is not good for me or them. Anyhow, unless it's positive, like I say, you're keeping it authentic and G, then let's talk, let's vibe. If not, then fuck off. So, anyhow, it's all love, bro. To anybody out there, unless you're on that weird shit, that means you need to get right. I'm gonna leave it at that. Hope you're doing well. Got this jazz fucking rocking out. Motherfucking chill ass beats in the back. I'll put this together in 2022. I was a producer, folks, for many years. Just to add a little touch to the shit. I was a producer for many years. I made many genres of beats. I moved out to Hollywood, California to pursue a music career back in 2009. Spent many years out there. Lived right next to Capitol Records. Hollywood sign goes behind the crib. Fun times. Yeah, the music career was fun. Didn't go exactly the way I wanted it to be, but I enjoy music, and this is some shit put together. So anyway, hope y'all doing well. Stay up. Stay solid. We got to come together, folks, and be tight. Not just the cannabis industry, but this whole country. You know what I mean? Everybody. We got some serious shit going on right now. Yep. So, with that said, light one up, smoke one, watch this video back, send it to a friend, like, subscribe. I never say that shit, but like, subscribe. Don't be a funny one. Peace, y'all.